Alright, y'all. Hello, and welcome back to another emergency vehicle video. This is a Dutch video, and this one's pretty impressive from what I hear. Usually things coming out of there are very impressive, so I'm excited for this one. This one is suggested recently on Discord by IWrocker, and they say this is a video from an ambulance transporting an early-born infant to the hospital in Rotterdam. It starts with the local police take over the escort of the ambulance on the highway. Just before they leave the highway to enter the city, they close each and every crossroad and intersection to give a free passage. This is pretty impressive. I'm excited to see this. Something I've never witnessed in person, and I feel like would be very difficult to pull off. Try to count the police personnel and vehicles utilized to save the little one's life. P.S. They do it a couple times a year if the rescue services ask for it, according to an interview with the police I've seen in a different video. That's pretty cool. And this video actually comes to us from a channel called PA. This is from quite a few years ago. So yeah, if you want to check it out, it'll be linked down below. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so you can see that we are in the ambulance. Wow, bunch of weird cars like I always love looking at. Look at everyone getting out of the way. They do have a police escort, which is awesome. I mean, these are usually impressive without a police escort, so that just kind of seals the deal, I imagine. All right, now we are further along on the highway. Coming up to a little heavier traffic, and it looks like we're gonna get off. Now this is gonna be a little interesting here, because I always worry about this, right? Entering or exiting the highway with traffic. It's got to be very stressful for emergency responders anywhere. Although they're making good headway and they haven't had any hiccups yet at all. All right, going further along. Now it looks like they are exiting. I think that police escort really helps for this part, for sure. Although this is where I think this is going to be fascinating, because we have these blocked off intersections. You can see, okay, so I'm going to try and count. You know, you can see there's a police van there, and then some sort of a policeman right there. So they are blocking that. That's the first order of business coming right off the exit there. You wouldn't want to run into, you know, relatively busy traffic there going at a decent rate of speed. I always love looking at everything. Look at that Esso Express. I'm assuming that's a fuel station. Pretty cool. Another thing I want to point out, like I always love to, the roads, man. The roads are very clearly marked. There's no, like, fatigue on the road, right? Everything's fresh. I don't see any potholes or anything. Like, the road is in fantastic condition. And I just love seeing that. There's something so satisfying about public roads that are in great shape. And for some reason, that's hard to come by in certain spots around here in the U.S. Certain cities have great roads, but a lot of them don't. And Illinois has horrible roads. Here we have more police personnel blocking this intersection. Look at this. I always love the livery on Dutch police vehicles. Even the tram is blocked off. This is very impressive. I mean, how did they coordinate this? This is a long, you know, like kilometers long route. And I don't know the whole context. You know, perhaps the comments, you might be able to clear this up. But clearly this is a very important ambulance ride for somebody, right? Very important. And they have taken the actual precautions to get this done safely and to get this done quickly. We have another intersection blocked off. Again, you can see the police personnel, another police vehicle, some sort of van. Looked pretty funny. Just incredible that this is coordinated. As an American, I love to see this. It's just like not something I would see over here, at least that I know of. Our emergency responders are awesome. It's just they're not the problem. It's the traffic here. That's the problem. I see too many times ambulances get blocked and held up. And it's a shame. This is on whole another level. They're having a free ride across a busy city, right? It's not a small city. Look at it. It's a legit place. More personnel. 1, 2 vehicles. Multiple police men and women there. Still being escorted by this what looks to be a Volvo unit. I'm not sure. I think that I'm going to lean towards that's a Volvo. Look, this would be an otherwise very crowded and tight intersection. Thank goodness this is blocked off. Very impressive. Again. Wow. No pedestrian or no foot traffic or bicycles crossing either. So everyone's, you know, participating well, right? I mean, I'm sure some people might be a little frustrated if they don't know what's going on. Like, hey, what's the delay? You know what? At the end of the day, everyone looks like they're behaving. Looks like they're behaving. No one's trying to crush through the barricade. Did I just see a Dodge Ram? I did. And look at that. There's a black Dodge Ram. That looks like America right there. That is crazy to see. Wow. It looks huge. Wow. On those roads. Or surrounded by traffic, I should say. Pretty cool buildings up here. This is a pretty place. I like how the lights are too. They're like striped. They're kind of high vis, and they have an interesting shape to them. They look different than ours. Look at another intersection blocked though. Even foot traffic, like I said, is held off. So great coordination and you know, everyone's making this happen as a unit, which is so cool to see. Wow. You know what? I really did kind of lose count already. I'm going to assume we're at a dozen already. I should have counted a little more strict. I'm kind of just trying to take it all in. Look at this, at this massive intersection. They even have this under control? Wow. Oh my God, how is this? This coordination is truly mind-bending. I don't think maybe the average person could truly appreciate or understand how difficult this is to pull off. This is incredible. This ambulance has had a free ride, like uninterrupted, right? The only part they even had to worry about was the highway, and everyone behaved well on the highway. They had the police car escort in front of them. This is incredible, man. What a way to do things when you really need it. I know this isn't every ambulance ride, obviously. They said this is quite rare, but the fact that this can be done to any degree is awesome. Look at this. Wow, man. Now, I'm assuming when the ambulance passes through and, you know, everyone's where they need to be, I'm assuming pretty soon after they would lift, you know, the blockade and those intersections would be back to free flowing. I'm assuming pretty quick, right? But the fact that they can coordinate this before it's coming and they have the exact route down and everything, it's so freaking cool, dude. I also love seeing these, just to see the infrastructure. You know, we saw one road here. It's like the first semi, you know, unkept road I've seen was right there, and it still looks okay. Otherwise, very clean looking city, and the roads are phenomenal. The landscaping is generally pretty damn good. I mean, it's very fun. Look at this massive intersection again. Wow. That's wild. And I'm assuming they're close to the hospital or their destination. Yeah, ambulance lane. Yep, they're definitely there now. For a pretty stress-free. God, I cannot talk today. For a pretty stress-free ride. There it is. Forgive my word blunders there. Look at this. God, what a phenomenal looking area. Wow. That amount of bicycles I'll never see in one spot unless you're at the bike shop here in the U.S. That is incredible. Wow. What a fancy looking place. That was a phenomenal ride. Round of applause. Much deserving. Shout out, as always, to all the emergency responders, police personnel, ambulance drivers, and personnel. I mean, it's got to be such a crazy job. Very stressful. I'm sure there's high highs and then low lows, right? So I really admire people that are able to do jobs like this and thank them, because we all need the tough jobs to be done. And thank goodness there's people that can do them, and they do them well. So I really do applaud that. This was awesome. We've seen quite a few emergency vehicle videos now. It's one of my favorite things. It's something I feel like that does make my channel stand out, and it's one of my favorite genres on this channel. It's not something I get to cover every day, but when we do, I really do enjoy it. And this one kind of stood out just for the fact that I've seen plenty of emergency vehicle videos from different countries where there's overall a pretty good flow to it. You know, I think generally the general public drivers, you know, we've kind of looked into driver's license requirement in different countries. You know, I think the average driver is a little more alert and cautious and has more to lose, you could say. So everyone, you know, drives pretty well and behaves well on the roads, as you should in a, you know, speeding vehicle. But yeah, I've seen other videos where traffic behaves pretty well and gets out of the way and all that stuff. And I can appreciate that already. But this one was kind of on another level, right? I haven't seen one exactly with this level of coordination. I've actually seen maybe close to this. I've seen a few Dutch videos from, you know, the last couple of years where it has been extremely coordinated and very impressive. And it blows my mind. It's not something I've ever witnessed here. And I think is very maybe underappreciated. I don't think people realize how hard something like this is to pull off. At the same time, how important it is, right? You can take a very stressful situation and make it a lot easier, and everyone is a lot safer, and, you know, potentially saves a life that much quicker and easier as well. And I don't think anyone would ever argue against that. The fact that they were on a pretty long route, you know, different highways, city streets, intersections, turns, and it was all coordinated perfectly, at least it looked like to me, and they had everything blocked off. They had everything blocked off, and this ambulance was able to cruise through and didn't have to make any sharp cuts or get brake checked or, you know, have to make some crazy maneuvers. They were able to take a relatively smooth, swift ride with no interruptions at all. They did not come to a complete stop and waste, you know, precious seconds, right, when it comes to medical emergencies. This was just incredible. Like, I don't want to go on and on. I think you get the point. This is very incredible. I've never seen anything like it. European ambulance responses in general from different countries do impress me, but the Dutch really, wow. I think they deserve some credit. They are on another level, it seems like, when it comes to organization and infrastructure, and in this case, police and ambulance responses. I mean, oh my God, this was phenomenal. Before we go, I wanted to highlight that pinned comment on this video. It's actually pretty cool. You can see it in, I believe that's Dutch. You want to read that real quick? And then I can translate it to English here so I can read it. So this is from Victor, and they say, this is about our son. How crazy is this that they found this and were able to comment? This is about our son. How super cool to see that they filmed that. Our son had to go to the Sophia, it must have been a mistranslation, probably a hospital, because of the known congenital defect. We were actually going to give birth, but the boy wanted to be a gronager. And so after his birth, he was rushed to the Sophia for further treatment. After 4 weeks at the hospital, we have now been home for 2.5 weeks, and the little man is doing quite well. We already heard that they would close everything down to get him to the hospital as soon as possible. But to actually see it like that is really cool. It gives me the jitters and emotions again. Blessed that we live in a country where this is so well organized. Very well said. I mean, I say that as someone who, from afar, like I said, is admire this. I'm inspired by this. I admire it. I'm also a little bit like, damn, like, there's a lot I love about my country, but there's a lot I don't. And this, like, I'm kind of jealous of this, right? In a good way. I wish my taxes felt like they went to something like good infrastructure, good roads, and a more unified kind of emergency force like this, where they do that for you, right? Like, hey, we need an emergency ride. Look at all they did for their son. That is incredible, right? That is beautiful. So yeah, one more round of applause. Very cool. I cannot wait to see the comments on this, and of course, more suggestions like this. I really do appreciate it. You guys fuel this channel so much, and I could not appreciate it any more than I already do. So thank you. Yeah, this was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one as well. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all, stay safe out there. I'll catch you later.